Hello friends, welcome back. So happy to grow another day with you guys. Today I am excited to show you watering techniques. So in this demonstration video, I'll be showing you two techniques. One being watering your plants from the top, the other being watering your plants from the bottom. There's no right or wrong way. You just choose whichever works based on your lifestyle and how much time you have to commit to watering your plants. Most plants suffer a horrible death due to overwatering, and that is because people are over caring for their plants. So you see it, you're attracted to it. Its visual, beauty is a constant reminder that you need to care for it, and so plants are dying from overcare. And the number one cause of death is overwatering. So definitely want to, get to know your plants. One important thing I would say when it comes to watering day is using your five senses. So feeling the plant, touching the soil to see if it's dry to the touch is a good indication that your plant may need water. Another great sign is getting familiar with the weight of your plant. So if it feels significantly lighter than when you first purchased it or from the last time that you watered it, then it may be time for watering. And if you're unsure, you may want to further investigate. So the first technique that I will be showing you guys is watering your plants from the top. So if you're like me, when you bring your plants home from the nursery, sometimes you don't want to repot right away and you just choose to put the nursery pot into your decorative pot. So what you want to do is remove the plant from the decorative pot, still keeping it in its nursery pot. Next, you want to make sure that you have a drip tray to catch any excess water that may drain from the plant. Now you can normally get this from the store for about 85 cents to $1.25 depending on the size of the plant. And as mentioned, you may have your plant in a decorative pot or basket in this case, in which you're not able to water your plant, so you want to remove it from the decorative pot. Place your plant in the drip tray, removing this monstera from this beautiful terracotta pot. Now this plant is extremely dry, and I can tell by the weight of it. The plant, it's extremely light, and as you guys see, it's a little bit top heavy, so it is tipping forward. Once this soil becomes evenly saturated, the plant will become back stable, which is starting to become now. And one thing I want to mention is I've allowed the water to come into the drip tray, and I'm going to let it sit there for about 10 to 15 minutes so that it can reabsorb the water back into the soil because it was so dry. So you always hear you don't ever want to let your plants sit or remain in water for too long, but when you're watering, you can leave it in the water sitting in water for about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on the size of the plant. And this here is a 6-inch planter. So I am evenly pouring water around this plant to ensure that we are getting the roots evenly moist. And pour slow and gradually to allow the roots to drink the water. You don't want to pour too fast, because then the roots won't have time to be able to absorb the water and nutrients. And then once that time has passed, we'll go ahead and remove the plant, because remember, you don't ever want to leave your plant sitting in water, because that's the number one way of causing root rot. All right, so the next plant we're going to water from the top is our rubber plant tree. And again, we're going to evenly pour all around the plant. And if you notice that the water isn't being absorbed immediately into the soil, and it's starting to just pool at the top, then your soil may need aeration, which means you may need to poke holes into the soil to ensure that air and water is reaching your roots. So we're pouring evenly around this plant until we see the water drain out of the bottom. bringing you guys closer so that you can see exactly where the water line is. So both plants are currently sitting in a small pool of water, and this is the excess water that was drained when I watered. Next, we're going to water this watermelon peperomia that I've repotted into this terracotta pot. Now remember, having a drip tray is extremely important. Sometimes you don't always have one that matches, so you can try to pair it up with something cool. You can repurpose things like a plate that you may no longer want to use anymore, or don't have all of the pieces in your collection and you just want to throw it out. You can reuse those plates to be a drip tray for your plant. Water until we see it come out of the drainage hole and into the drip tray. So I am evenly watering. And when you see the water come out of the drainage hole, you know that you've successfully watered your plant. And there you have it. We'll set that to the side. So we've now watered 3 plants from the top, 2 of them being potted in a nursery potter or planter, excuse me. And then we have the one that I repotted into the terracotta pot, and we watered this from the top as well. So all 3 plants are sitting in water. These 2 the 2 larger ones have been sitting in water for about, I'd say, 10 minutes. I can tell that the weight has changed. The plant, this monstera, does feel a little bit heavier, or should I say a lot bit heavier from when I first watered it. So I am going to go ahead and empty out this excess water. Okay friends, the next technique we'll be going over is watering your plants from the bottom. You'll definitely need a drip tray or a bucket or of some sort for this method here. I suggest a drip tray. So you want to place your plant in the drip tray. And we're using these plants for this demonstration. I'm going to remove this Pilea peperomia from its terracotta pot, nursery pot, into the drip tray. So we have a Aglonema Katrina, aka Chinese evergreen. We have a Scindapsus pictus. We have the Pilea peperomia. And then we have the philodendron lemon lime. And for this demonstration, I will be watering all of these plants using the bottom watering technique. So we're going to fill the drip tray with water. And you may notice the water levels start to go down immediately, especially on the smaller plants. We have watered these plants, successfully watered these plants from the bottom. The Chinese evergreen here is very heavy. From when I first watered it, I introduced the string of pearls midway through. This wasn't in the video initially, but you'll see in the time lapse, it drank the water really, really fast. So yeah, we just successfully bottom watered our plants. The biggest one is the philodendron lemon lime, and this is feeling much heavier than when I first watered it. Also, the surface of this plant is much darker and it is moist to the touch. So we know that it's time for this to be pulled from the water. And just because all of the water is in here does not mean that the plant will drink all of this water. And this is why it's super important to time this perfectly, because you don't want to let your plant sit in water for too long, as it can and will cause root rot. So we're going to empty this excess water, letting whatever remaining water in there drain out. Well friends, there you have it. You now know how to water your plant from the top and the bottom. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. I appreciate you growing with me. This is only the beginning. As I continue to become more comfortable speaking in front of the camera, I think this will become more fun. I'll also get better with my setup and arrangements, just to make sure that we're properly capturing things. And, with practice makes perfection. So Thanks, guys. Looking forward to talking with you guys soon. Well, friends, thank you so much for joining me for today's tips on watering from the top and the bottom. I look forward to growing with you guys. I look forward to developing my channel. Over time, I will become more comfortable speaking in front of this camera. I promise to work on my setup and arrangements, my angles, just to make sure that we are capturing things clear so that you guys have the best demonstrations. I look forward to growing with you, and we'll be in touch soon.